Wolverine vs. Deadpool. Everybody wants it, and it's happened many, many times throughout Marvel's history. So many times, in fact, that Marvel has created a book known as Wolverine vs. Deadpool, which is just a compilation of about 300 pages of all the times that they have actually fought, and teamed up and then fought again. Today I thought it'd be fun to bring you the first 3 stories in that book, because that book is massive. So I'm going to be telling you the storylines where Deadpool directly fought against Wolverine. You're not really going to get much context with these stories, it's just going to be 3 of their fights. This is Comicstorian. I pretty much take comic books, turn them into audio dramas, and this allows you to know what's going on in the world of comics and keep up. I do this for the fun of it, and if you want to join us here at our family, we'd love it if you did by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Let's get into the first story. Back when Wolverine was up in Canada, he promised James Hudson that he'd stop by Frisco to check up on the Kane kid. But looking at the busted open door, looks like there's trouble already. Wolverine calls out to Kane, but what he's met with is Deadpool shooting at him, telling him, "Nobody's home but cold-blooded mercenary assassins! Hoo-ha! You wouldn't happen to know where old shiny arms went off with my ex Vanessa, would ya? Huh? Wolverine pops his claws, telling him, "I wouldn't stomp on your face if it was on fire, let alone rat out the Kane kid and his lady." Wolverine then rips into Deadpool's arm, and the two of them go back and forth when finally Deadpool takes out the swords. Wolverine tries to end it by kicking Deadpool down, but just as Wolverine passes over him, Deadpool bounces back, swinging, stabbing his swords into Wolverine's back, puncturing his lungs. As Wolverine falls to the ground, Deadpool puts away his sword. You know, why didn't I notice this poster earlier? To the theater! And after finally knitting up his lungs, Wolverine crawls to his feet, looking at the picture that Deadpool saw. Actors, huh? Theater across the town? That'll take some time to get over to. Meanwhile, over at the theater, Deadpool's already arrived, charging in with a loud hoo-ha! Hope your fighting skills have deteriorated to your level of acting, fingers crossed! Kane's eyes shine as he tells him, "Acting doesn't come easy to me, but I was born to fight, and some would say that Weapon X improved me some." As Deadpool's sword bounces off of Kane's metal arms, he tells him to leave, that he has no business here, and Deadpool yells that his business is making him dead. "Didn't think I was gonna let you get away with stealing my girl, did you?" But at that moment, Deadpool is punched to the ground, and Vanessa says, "You have a lot of nerve calling me your girl. I don't even let Garrison say that." Together, Kane and Vanessa continue to beat down on Deadpool, but with one lucky kick, Deadpool manages to push Vanessa away, giving him some room to work. With the two of them separated, Deadpool asks Kane if he really loves Vanessa. "Like you'd do anything for her, right? Well, it's time to make up your mind. 2 swords thrown, one at your head and one at Vanessa's heart. Which one are you gonna stop, Kane?" At that moment, Wolverine bursts in just as Kane deflects the sword coming at him, and Wolverine's arm extends just far enough to catch the other sword in his own arm. Deadpool yells, "Hey, you're supposed to be dead!" And Wolverine tells him, "My healing factor is working just fine, it seems. Too bad for you, huh? Got anything to say, Big Mouth?" "Yeah, just one word. Grenade!" Deadpool pulls the pin on his grenade, throwing it, setting off an explosion that gives him just enough time to escape the 3 of them. As the smoke is clearing, Kane and Vanessa help Wolverine out, and Wolverine says that he used to be like them, trying to find his way in the world, thinking that he could do it on his own. Bunch of running around howling in the woods, and then he found some folks that were just like him, who understood him, who cared. And all of a sudden he had a place to call home. Hopefully, these two can work things out and have a good life. A bit upset, Vanessa says that Kane blocked the sword going at his head, and Wolverine tells her, "That's right, he did the right thing, because if he was dead, he wouldn't have been able to help at all. Could have stopped the sword that was aimed at you, but the other would have split his skull. Then who was going to stop Deadpool from walking over and getting you?" And now we cut to the next story. It was an uncommonly quiet night at the Xavier Institution. Inside all was calm. Outside, something prowls the grounds, only to be drawn by the sound of something heavy and the scent of blood. It stalks the dying soldier, the stench of rotting flesh filling the predator's nostrils. This soldier is not dying from his wounds, but from disease. As Wolverine looks down at the savage, he yells, "Maverick!" And Maverick tells him who's next. After getting looked at by Beast, Maverick heads back outside to look for Wolverine. From the bushes, Wolverine appears, telling him that the last time that they saw each other, he was looking for someone to punch his ticket. The answer's still no. And Maverick tells him that he nearly died coming here, and it's not to have himself finished. But Maverick waits, Wolverine keeping his distance. Is he afraid of his own savage self, or maybe afraid of catching the legacy virus? Maverick explains that he came here to warn Wolverine. He was in his Manhattan safe house when they came for him. Even at his best, they may have been too much for him. Their field leader got him good, tore him right through his armor before the doors to the speed lift shut on his arm. When they first came, they said that he was the perfect guinea pig, a mutant with a healing factor taken from his DNA and then infected with the legacy virus. They already have Deadpool. It follows that Wolverine would be next on the list. He isn't sure where they got the mouthy merc, but wherever he is, he's probably in pain. Wolverine looks at Maverick. Wilson is a psycho, a stone-cold killer. We don't owe him anything. Maybe. But they aren't about to give up and we're next. We can't just sit here and do nothing while somebody else, anybody else, is put through the kind of torture that we went through, Wolverine. I'm not sure what happened to you. You can stay in the wood and prowl all you want, but you're still a man. And leaving Deadpool to rot would probably be proving that you're an animal. Wolverine pauses for a moment, stating that they don't even know where Deadpool's being held. And Maverick walks off. I'll call in some markers. Part of Wolverine didn't give a damn. The freedom of not caring is tempting. But Maverick is right about his humanity. His friend is dying, slowing down with the virus. It could be dangerous, but he needs this mission. Needs to know that he could still do it, that he can still live. Within 48 hours, Maverick and Wolverine are at the Canadian border in a secret lab. Wolverine and Maverick tear their way through, taking out the guards when they make it to the armored core. Maverick sets off a charge, blowing right into the lab, and a restrained Deadpool smiles back at him. I'm so touched that you guys remembered my birthday. Now get me down. I got some candles to blow out. Wolverine cuts the cables, keeping Deadpool in place, telling him to not get smart with them. Don't make me regret coming for you. Deadpool throws one of the metal cuffs off, telling him, I wouldn't dream of it. Just need to slip into something a bit more comfortable. Dr. Westergaard steps out, telling them that this is the end of the line. It just made her job of getting them considerably easier. They will be free to leave once certain tests have been run. As the guards open fire, Deadpool leaps in, telling them, I feel like Butch at Sundance, you know? When they're hiding in Bolivia at the end of the movie. Wolverine yells, You know that Butch at Sundance died at the end of the movie, right? At that moment, Slayback slashes into Deadpool's back, telling him, And today is a wonderful day to die. Wolverine spins back, telling him, Maybe, but we ain't gonna be the ones doing the dying. Westergaard quickly retreats, telling the computer to engage essential salvage and self-destruct mode. Password, humanity. The sirens begin to blare. Slayback wrestles with Wolverine, telling him that he needs to go. But not before taking your head for my trophy case. Maverick shoots Slayback in the back, telling him that he doesn't think so, and Wolverine yells, That's enough! We gotta get out of here! The three run down the hallways until the entire facility begins to rumble, and Wolverine says, We're not gonna make it! Unless... Deadpool looks out the window at the giant waterfall. No, wait, dude! Please say you're not thinking of doing a Greg Lagantis down these falls. Wolverine stops, looking at him. What? You all talk? What? Are you saying I don't have the guts for this? The three of them jump out of the facility as it's exploding. But once Wolverine and Maverick pull themselves out of the water, Deadpool's gone. A few days later, Beast receives a refrigerated package of blood and cell samples from W. Wilson. Using Deadpool's samples, Beast tried to find a cure for the legacy virus. But without much time to examine it, Beast tells him there's nothing he can do. Wolverine looks at his friend. It ain't over yet. With Hank and the crew on it, we're bound to have a cure soon. And Maverick says that it may come too late for him. But he isn't going to give up hope yet. Not sure if he can be a soldier anymore, but he can still hold his own. Whatever time he has, he's going to spend it hunting down the answers, finding a cure if there is one, no matter what it takes. Our next story begins. As Deadpool sits in the office of Dr. Bong, he screams that it's a barbarian, bunny, busty, broad bonanza in his brain pan, and he's the only one invited. Bong tells him that he is hearing what he is saying, but he still isn't sharing. Open up and tell me how you really feel. Deadpool asks what's with the dealio on his dome. You must have seen this before. Well, I've only recently completed this psychology PhD, and you're technically my first case. Your mind has chosen to manifest these hallucinations at this time due to, what did you call it? Deadpool smacks a bunny. I saved the universe from a 10-story, googly-eyed space baby by dooming all of creation to an agonizing life of free will. Or are you talking about the thing where I have seizures when Kathy Lee sings? Bong cracks at Deadpool over the head with his bell arm, telling him, Don't fret, old chum. We will get to the bottom of your problem. The hallucinations of this sort are the mind's way of dealing with unpleasant businesses. Your mind is manifesting bunnies during times of stress to process certain impulses. Deadpool asks, "What about the tart pouring booze into the gallon of milk? I don't even want to know what filthy quarter of my adolescent fantasy she's supposed to be." Bong taps his bell head again. We'll discover her true meaning through intensive therapy. Because normal medicine will have no effect on a healing factor like yours. To unearth your problems, a hero must die. The next day at the shopping district of Chinatown, Wolverine and Kitty walk through when Kitty sees a stand selling puzzle boxes, asking if she can stop and look at a few. They have time before they need to return to the Black Crane. Wolverine tells her, "Sure, knock yourself out, kid." But as he picks one up, the old woman behind the counter smacks his hand, telling him that if he breaks it, he buys it. Wolverine sniffs the air. Something ain't right. Something stinks. Like Deadpool. He then whispers to Kitty, telling her to phase through him real quick. It'll disrupt whatever doohickey he's got disguising himself with. Kitty puts her arm through the old woman, and suddenly Deadpool's disguise fades. Eek! I'm exposed! Now everyone will know my shameful secret! I'll have to turn in my Miss Universe title! Kitty says that she has a sinking feeling that she's not going to like him. And Deadpool tells her, "Yeah, I have that effect on stuck-up little princesses." Anyway, I was thinking, Deadpool stares off as he sees the hallucinations again. So he grabs Wolverine's arm, shouting, "Schnick him! Come on, do it! Let's go!" Wolverine pulls his arm back. "I'm here to meet an old friend, not play footsies with a psychotic. Now back off." Kitty laughs, telling him that he is so lucky that they need to go somewhere else. If Wolverine did play his little game, and Deadpool stops her. Game? Speaking of games, have you guys ever played Street Fighter? At that moment, Deadpool jumps up, giving her an uppercut. Shouken! Sending her flying. With that moment, the claws pop, and Deadpool dances around. Yeah! Fighty time! Fighty time! Wolverine lunges at him, but Deadpool spins, stabbing Wolverine into the side, telling him, "Look, I can cut too!" But while they fight, Kitty starts to shake off the dazed feeling. That degenerate! At that moment, Dr. Bong bows. "I would like to offer an alternative behavior that might better fulfill the void of your ego structure that violence seems to feed. Can you say, group hug? Dr. Bong at your service. Charmed, I'm sure." But back with Wolverine and Deadpool, Wolverine throws himself into Deadpool, knocking him into a store where he begins to stab Deadpool repeatedly when a man looks in. "Logan?" Deadpool jumps up. "Who's that?" And before getting an answer, he shoots the man. Wolverine immediately jumps back out of the window, yelling, "Black Crane! Please say it went through clean." And Black Crane gets up. "Fear not, old friend. I've had visions of the lady in the violet cloak all day. I'll live." But this just angers Deadpool even further. "Hey, this is about me right now. I don't want to be crazy anymore." Wolverine launches himself at Deadpool, yelling, "That is not my problem. You have no sense of honor, no shred of penance. I came here to settle a blood debt and you ruined it." They go back to fighting with Deadpool seeing hallucinations. "Okay, now they're just standing there. What gives, Doc?" And Dr. Bong chimes in. "Can't you see? You're on the brink. Your interaction with Wolverine has triggered a wave of introspection. You're the one controlling the hallucinations. Address your issues, Deadpool." Kitty yells, shouting that she is trapped in some kind of a force field and can't phase through, but Bong smacks the force field, rattling her. "If you would, I'm with a client." Deadpool scratches his head, even further confused. "Okay, address them. But how? The furball is yapping about honor and penance. And the past?" But before Deadpool could really think this out, Wolverine lunges in, ripping at Deadpool's face, and the two of them go back to cutting at one another. Bong says, "The rabbits. Just think out of reach. You've begun to long for the parcels of self that you've lost." Fighting Wolverine, arguing about his denial of the past, he begins to turn a conscious eye inwards, processing the pain without necessity for hallucinations. But Deadpool then kicks Wolverine. "Okay, let's say I'm buying all this crap. Who's the chick?" Clearly, the woman pouring the liquor into the milk is representative of your own self poisoning your once promising life. Deadpool stops right there. Actually, that makes sense. But this woman, I know her. She isn't just a hallucination. He turns back, asking Wolverine, "Did you hear? I know who she is!" But by the time Deadpool could even finish, Wolverine stabs him in the back with the claws, screaming. Bong scratches his chin. "By time exit worked. Time to get out of here." Suddenly, Deadpool and Bong teleport away back to Bong's office, with Deadpool telling him, "Just give me a few hours, and I'll be as good as new." Bong tells him that at the end of their session, he knew who the woman was in his hallucination so that he can complete the report and close the file. Who was she, Deadpool? He falls over. Don't spare her a second thought. She's just the broad who stole my art a long time ago and then got dead. And there you have it. 3 of these stories. Now, there are a lot of them in here, and if you guys enjoyed this, I can do more of them until we eventually get like a 2-hour video where you just see all of the times the 2 of them have fought. I think that could be kind of cool, but I need to know if you want that. In order for this channel to keep succeeding and for this video to succeed, I need you to let me know in the comments down below. What do you like about Deadpool? What do you like about Wolverine? Do you just want more of these storylines? Let me know down there. And like I said, if you want to keep us going, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. I'll see you guys next time here, and I hope you had fun with this video.